Did you remember that you left your backpack there?
Definitely. How else would we remember which turnout we were in?
Hello! Does this car make me look fat?
This car makes me feel like a giant.
This car makes me look fat. Yeah, it's not...
Makes you look tall. You're tall.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Yes.
I'm tall.
Like a Viking.
Yes. It makes me look very tall.
Sturdy.
Yes. It's the ND3 MX5. I might disagree with the 3 nomenclature. I don't know. There's only a few things that have been changed.
Very small things.
Very small
Almost
things.
Unnoticeable from the outside.
Yeah, and also very minimally noticeable unless you happen to drive both ND2 and ND3 back to back.
Right, within the same minute. Almost.
Right. Same 181 horsepower, 2-liter 4-cylinder, 150 torque. Same
2,400 pound curb weight.
Yeah,
basically.
although not today. Today we're approaching gross vehicle weight. Between the two of us, admittedly more me than you, but the two of us and our trunk full of gear.
Which is 2 backpacks, 1 laptop,
and 1 camera case. Yeah, I mean, that's maxed out. And 1 bottle of Quick Detailer.
Yeah.
We are maxed out on this car.
Do we have to go through the commercial scales on the way home?
Yeah, for sure. But staying, 6-speed manual gearbox, 52-48 weight distribution, a lot of the things that you want out of a sports car.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has the recipe.
So what makes it new, Zach?
They changed the differential tuning and the LSD a little bit. So now when you're trail braking, it's more locked. It used to be very open, and people complained it rotated too easily. And there's now a new traction control setting. So it used to just be on or full off. So now there's a middle ground.
Now it's dynamic.
It's a dynamic thing. So it'll let it slide out a little bit and play around. But you can only get that on the GT, which this is, or on the Club. And there's a bunch of overlap Venn diagrams. Like if you want, this has the Bilsteins, which the Club can also get, but you don't get the Brembos in this. Like you get in the Club. Or the Recaros.
Guys, when we're filming cars in the canyons, they get dirty, particularly a convertible like this MX5. There's so much dust in the air, not to mention making all those U-turns in the gravel lots, and we're trying to keep the cars clean for the video. That's why having a portable, convenient, handy vacuum like the Fanttik V8 Apex comes in handy. This thing is amazing. It's got a super powerful motor. It's got so many different attachments that work great for every surface on your car. It's got a really long-lasting battery, and it's very quiet, but with a bonus turbocharge mode. I wish the Miata had a turbocharger. When it comes to those hard-to-reach areas, swap it out for the detail attachment, and now we can get in those crevices that are hard to reach. These things are a great buy anytime, but right now, Prime Day is coming up, and Fanttik is offering special pricing on the V8 Apex as well as their V10 vacuum. You can only get it with the description in this video, so head over there, get one for yourself, get one for your brother, your mother, your father, anyone who spends a lot of time in the car. It's a must-have in the trunk, and thank you to Fanttik for sponsoring today's video. It has lots of rip'ems, many, 7,500 rip'ems in each gear, and they are fun to use. Very revvy engine, very little puppy dog engaging engine, right? You always want to be a gear lower than you sort of think, so you can be in that 5 to 7,500 range, and it starts to sound very good up there too.
And it feels so smooth. I mean, the Miata engine has always felt, and it would last for 1,000,000 miles, and it feels so under stress versus something like the BRZ, which while it has 50 more horsepower, just you feel bad revving it out. It sounds weird. It feels
a little strange.
A lot of vibration, of course, because of opposed cylinders. This thing just feels silky smooth, and you just rev it. It's always there.
Yeah, between the smoothness of the engine, the directness of the gearbox, it really encourages you to beat the shit out of it at every possible opportunity. That's kind of what you should be doing with one of these.
Yeah, the same way we've talked about how EVs, you feel like you can't, you can't beat the shit out of. You know, the EV feels like there's nothing you can do to it that will really hurt it. This feels like a middle ground.
All right, he's waving us up.
What is he doing?
Three-pointing a semi-truck up on Mulholland. That seems like a challenge. You can just stay in second gear way longer than you think. I'm looking for that cyclist that was here before. I think Mazda may have messed up by sending us this specification. The GT, it's got some luxury features like auto wipers, auto adaptive headlights and stuff that the daily driver would appreciate, but the smoking tire, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I think we probably would have liked the Club more. The Club you can get with that package that gives you the Recaro seats. They're better, they have more bolsters, and then of course the Brembo brakes.
And BBS wheels.
And the BBS wheels.
Yeah.
I mean, this has the same size wheels, and this has the same suspension setup as the Club gets.
Look, there she is, all the way up there.
She's going
Cyclist
for it.
is doing well. Really making that climb.
So you get all the same performance hardware in this car, but the brakes would be a little bit more applicable if we were doing track stuff. I didn't have a problem with these brakes overheating or being underpowered when I took it up to Good Vibes on Friday.
So that road, the Angeles Forest Road, you're not using the brakes quite as much. It's more momentum, high speed.
True.
I was on this road yesterday, and it was a very hot day. They got a little soft.
Okay.
These are 11-inch single piston brakes, which in a very light car is like fine, but if you're pushing it on a hot day, you'll get them hot. And so the fact that for $4,500 you can get a package that has Recaro seats, BBS wheels, and Brembo brakes, like everything else with the Miata, that is a good value.
Well, and you can save a little money by not getting the GT. And then you can get that
package.
That's
what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah, get the Club and then get that package as opposed to the GT.
The only thing the GT has that I think would be nice is you get a thicker roof panel. So it was pretty quiet in here. On the drive up on the highway, we could have a normal conversation. And when we had the BRZ TS, I was shocked at how much road noise there was.
Right.
This is quieter. Some of that's tire, of course, but some of it is the sound deadening, and I was really impressed by that.
Oh, right. And now now the Zack will drive, and you will see how poorly I fit in the passenger side of this vehicle. So look, the passenger side of this car is not great.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible.
terrible.
And it's been bad. I had an NA,
yeah,
and it was bad. And this same thing. And the difference, though, is the NA, I'm pretty sure it had a glove box. This doesn't have a glove box.
It has a gun box here.
But
there's nothing here.
So what are your knees giving up their life for?
An airbag. And
I feel like I'm sure they pack. There's something back there, but I feel very bad for anyone over 6 feet tall.
Nah,
maybe?
less 5'10". Not great.
I'm 5'10". I had like 2 inches of knee room sitting over there with the seat all the way back. So
it's suboptimal.
If it was a solvable problem, I guess they'd solve it, but it's unfortunate. And that is not a problem in the BRZ. It approached redline and I felt nothing.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. It did not feel at all like it was stressed out. It's so impressive.
It's like this and Porsches. Those are the only cars that you can rev that hard and not have to like be mechanically sympathetic.
Totally. I mean, even like a Corvette, CO6 aside maybe, you really start to feel the vibration and hear everything with that low rev limit. So they did change something else. They changed something with the steering. They made a lower friction bearing in the steering shaft, and then whoa boy, that truck should not be up here.
Yeah. It's mobbing.
So they reduced the friction of the steering shaft, and they reprogrammed the EPS a little bit. Their goal was to make it feel more precise off-center, but also easier to drive on the highway. I never had a problem with the old one.
I didn't either, and frankly, unless you drive the old one and this back-to-back, you're not going to tell the difference. Even if you're very pretentious and British, you can't tell the difference. Like, you know how the British well, they added a 1mm spacer and it totally transformed the experience. Horseshit. So, You could probably tell back to back, but it was great before.
It was great
now.
before, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what I love about this car, and I really experienced this again on Angela's Crest, is in a steady corner, you can just change your right foot on the gas and feel every change because it's not too stiff. And so many cars today, sports cars we drive, 911s, Corvettes, whatever, are so stiff, you don't notice those changes really. And they're important because the physics are still there.
Right.
But with super stiff suspension and all these other things, you don't actually sense it, so it's hard to get that education. But with these cars, like you can just be on the throttle, and you can add a little bit, you can feel the front lift, you feel it understeer, and then if you lift off the gas, like the nose totally tucks in.
Yeah.
This is like the essence of driving, I feel like, compared to all the other cars.
Right. When a car's really light, you can make it really soft.
Yep.
And then your body roll isn't bad.
Right.
Your body roll gives you this beautifully large gray area to explore the limit of slip. Whereas the faster the car, the heavier the car, and the stiffer the car, the narrower that area gets.
Absolutely. And you get less sensation other than G-force.
Right.
And it's hard to tune heavy cars for that feedback of your limit.
There is nothing about driving that you can't learn in one of these.
Absolutely.
This is what driving is.
Yep. This is the essence. You feel all the physics, all the lessons would come through in this thing. And then, as we've said before, you can apply those lessons to a faster car.
Yeah.
But you'll understand them if you learn them in this first. I just feel like this car, in an age where everything is like 500-600 horsepower, 5,000 pounds, this is like the fun that helps offset that average of seriousness.
Yeah.
It's Robin Williams going to work at an accounting firm. Like, this is the fun thing. And everything else has gotten so heavy and so sticky and has been all about lap times. And you can change your apex in
Here's
the
corner. Big jump and oof, yeah, there. It's pretty composed there.
It's really good. The bump stops are good in this thing. The tuning of this is excellent.
Yeah.
Just great.
When I drove it for Performance Car of the Year for like a half hour, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. But I drove it for like 5 hours yesterday and a couple hours the day before, and it's not great. My back doesn't feel good. These seats aren't great. My knee bangs into that door. So I'm just too big.
So I thought the seats were pretty good for my Friday drive. Pretty comfortable. They held me okay, but once you start getting a lot of cornering force, like you're holding onto the wheel. So the Recaros, again, would be the better way to go. But you make a good point. Like, you fit in the BRZ.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
And the BRZ is a car you can use every day. It could be your only car.
Yes.
This can't be your only car.
It couldn't. But it could, like, for 34 grand, especially, or 36 if you get a club with the BBS Recaro Brembo package. Mm-hmm. That is a lot of fun. It's a lot of car. It'll last a really long time. You can put the top up and down really fast.
Totally.
When the top is easy to go up and down, you end up driving with the top down more often because you can just throw it back up if you need to.
Totally true.
But
consumables are cheap.
Yeah.
Tires are cheap.
Yeah. There's so much to like here. More people should buy these.
I was having so much fun on Friday going what felt like 0.8.
Yeah.
And I'm going a little over the speed limit because it's just not that fast.
I drove this thing 100 miles on the mountain yesterday, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And the ride quality is good. It's not too stiff, so in the city, you can take bumps, and it's like not awful. Actually, it's just that if you're over 6 foot, if you're over 230, 240 pounds, you're pretty much checked out of this one. So the next stage for that is in like 2 or 3 weeks, we have the Z4 manual coming, which is probably twice the price of this, and it's almost twice the horsepower. But if you're larger, that might be.
Yeah, the question is, will it be twice the fun?
We'll see. So that's the ND3. A delight as always, as long as you fit. Thank you for watching. Thanks to Mazda for letting us have a go in it for a week, and we will see you later. Bye.
And remember, always fight your tickets on the Off the Record app available in the Android and iOS store, or go to offtherecord.com/TST.